If you understand the analogy of your business being like a baby, then imagine a new business literally looking after other people's babies. If you manage to get through the government red tape of starting a business involving childcare, then you might think your problems with authority are over. That is, until you meet the parents. How to raise a child is an unending debate. Advertising yourself as a child carer business automatically presumes you have expert status, and anything short of that could get you into hot water. You can kiss your regular routine goodbye, from overbearing, hovering parents to parents who are unfashionably late to collect their tot. You'll have to schedule around them all. Then you might have to navigate the murky waters of family dynamics, from children starved for attention to children literally starving. It'll be your role to try and offer the best care for each child, and the financial payoff for going the extra mile, well, it'll be exactly the same as for the easygoing child, because no one tips their teacher. Number 9. Event planning. If you think you'll be some cool clipboard-carrying hero who swoops in and makes everything okay and then gets all the credit, think again. Event planning is tons of behind-the-scenes planning, last-minute management, and making budgeting miracles happen daily, and then dose yourself with caffeine and do it all over again. Most of the challenges are because of a client expecting the world but not even willing to pay for a tenth of the budget. This is when you must have a stomach for begging for favors and working for very little in the hopes of a long-term payoff. Oftentimes, this doesn't come because with clients who want everything for nothing, nothing is ever good enough. The second more common challenge is the last-minute nature of the job. If your brief doesn't change last minute, it might be that you're asked to achieve months of work in just a few days. Because of the competitive nature of the industry, you'll most likely take on a project and deeply regret it later, either because you've overspent on budget to achieve it or are suffering from burnout from pulling it off. The stress is constant, and there's little to no time to stop and recover before another wave of crazy demands hits you. It's hard to retain customer loyalty, so you'll always have to be available at a moment's notice and under any budget restraints if you want to keep your customers happy. Number 8. On-demand driving. Whether you're wanting to own a fleet of cars or are planning on going solo with your car and a rideshare app, you might want to consider how much time you really can dedicate to your business. Many drivers find app-based driving services in their cities and can easily join and begin driving, but the high level of car maintenance required takes a lot away from your profit. Plus, there are unforeseen expenses like tire blowouts and fender benders that can wipe out your monthly earnings. You have no control over the rate you're paid on these types of platforms. You're at the mercy of the numbers, searches, and some mythical math that decides it all. It's a no-work, no-pay business, and the algorithm is your boss. So one bad ride or wrong turn and a low rating could move you down the waiting list or reduce your earnings. Not to mention that dealing with clients all day is taxing. You'll have to be a master of small talk and when not to talk. Number 7. Bakery. If you want to get into the bakery business, you should be driven by passion, because only passion will pull you through at 3 a.m. on a Saturday when you're getting up for the 6th day in a row to prepare paninis. The hours are long and demanding, and you'll be going to work long before sunrise. Your partner or kids might not appreciate your absence during breakfasts, so definitely consider what you might be missing out on before choosing a baking business. The markup margins can be pretty low, so working out your quantities is the only way to profit from this business. Having to donate boxes of unsold bread each day is fulfilling, but it won't pay your bills. Number 6. Live music events. The thrill of the lights, sound rigs, and meeting famous musicians has a massive appeal, but the business payoff doesn't always match the hype. Some promoters manage to make it big, but there are countless others that are left burnt out and bankrupt. The trouble with live events is there are so many variables you're not in control of. Will the weather be good? Will the crowd behave themselves? And will the artists show up on time or show up at all? You are at the mercy of other people, which makes the business extremely stressful. And there's the added stress of keeping an alcohol-fueled crowd safe. The health and safety regulations in most countries around live music concerts are very high. This can push up your costs beyond economically viable. It's often a case of needing to sell out before you break even. What's more, public opinion on social media can wreck your reputation faster than you can say encore, and this can end in artists not wanting to book shows with you. Many music concerts are sponsor-financed. This takes the financial pressure off the event promoter. However, this comes with a long list of rules and branding protocol to follow that can be really demanding and stressful to see through. As well, the added expectations by sponsors for massive returns on investment in terms of social media value is hard to obtain. Number 5. Fishing industry. The fishing industry was once a means of survival for many coastal dwellers and was a big business for commercial ventures. However, it was a poorly policed industry, which has depleted fish and habitat to a point the stock numbers aren't bouncing back. Nowadays, it isn't easy to enter the commercial fishing business, and the weeks at sea, startup expenses, and financial risks have made it a tricky business. Policing of fishing has increased and licenses are required. Better record keeping is demanded and staff conditions are improving. There are definitely no 9-to-5 jobs in the fishing industry. The hours are relentless and sometimes unpredictable because when the fish decide to run, you need to get into your boat or else miss out on the season. Number 4. Travel agent. If you're looking for a business that does tons of online price comparing and responding to millions of detailed questions with very little payoff, then you'll find it in being a modern-day travel agent. With the easy access and competitive pricing in tourism, the role of travel agent is fast becoming redundant to many travelers. Most people can compare pricing, organize tours, and plan a trip itinerary with one of the many websites available. But most will drop an email to a travel agent just to test the waters before making a final choice. Being a travel agent is extremely demanding. Not only are you going to deal with hundreds of time-waster emails, you'll also be held personally responsible for anything and everything that might go wrong on your client's holiday. The weather, a plague of locusts, or the high price of sunscreen in the Bahamas, all of this you will personally have to answer for. And because of the varying time zones, you might have to be available at obscene hours to field complaints about bed linen colors or legitimate crises like flight cancellations. And you can be sure that these complaints will all appear on your online review in great detail. Number 3. Florist. If you consider the challenging elements of floristry on their own, they're bad enough. But bring together the many factors influencing your local flower availability, estimating demands to minimize waste, the logistics around a mostly surprise delivery service, the art of keeping up with the latest trends, and then dealing with brides regularly. Owning a flower shop is not for the faint of heart. It's a massively demanding and difficult to profit from business. It takes an extreme dedication and a skillful execution to make it work, and even more proficiency to make it thrive. Number 2. YouTuber or Instagrammer. It seems like a glamorous life of working your own hours and plenty of freebies. Then there's the income from advertising or product placements, sponsorships, and public appearances. But it's not all easy money and free passes. Staying on top of trends and being ahead of the curve of what will be the latest and greatest thing is extremely stressful. And that's on top of the added demands of opening up your life for all to see and constantly needing to seem cool, hip, and happening, always doing something fun and presenting it in the perfect on-trend way. Many YouTubers and Instagrammers have spoken out about the immense pressure they're being faced with in the public eye, and constantly being in pursuit of the new content for their next deadline. It's a physically and emotionally demanding way of life, and the pay isn't as great as your favorite celebrity would have you believe. Number 1. Restaurants. If you can stomach the public scrutiny of social media foodie reviews and the ever-changing tastes and trends around food culture, then you might just be up for the challenge of owning a restaurant. But apart from that, the everyday demand of the responsibility of the restaurant business can be overwhelming. If you're able to jump the hurdle of health codes, liquor license applications, and safety requirements, then the next challenge is going to be the investment in equipment